have a son who's only 9 years old now.
All right.
But when he's older and he's in his 20s, and if he told me, yeah, I got with so-and-so and she has 3 kids and he hasn't made none of those kids with her, I'm going to be telling him she needs to be kicking in some ones.
Please put your comments down.
Put your
comments.
comments.
Got any comments? Please drop them down below.
Please put your comments down. I'm not going to tell my son to think that he has to solely take care of all that, and she don't have to worry about nothing. Especially if she's getting support or child support from the fathers.
Okay.
No, she needs to be kicking in something, being that you're taking care of a lot of shit for her and these kids. Now, if it's not any external children involved, it does change
So
for me.
So in other words, I'm hearing the kids is what makes it different.
It makes it different for me.
Does it make it different for kids involved over here on your end? Or are you still like, I'm still the man and we're together, we're married, we're whatever?
If I walk in, we having that conversation prior to. So if I already walked in, she got kids by another man, the man around or it isn't around, whichever one. But if I'm taking on her personally, I feel like I'm taking on them kids as well. So I have to be ready for that as a man. I just was raised that way. So true indeed, I got it. I still got it because I got those kids. I got it. Okay. Now, that internally is still, like I said, if you're getting the money from the baby daddies, I would tell her, don't waste that money. Make sure you spend that money where it's due. For those kids. You know what I'm saying? You just got a G from him or a G from them. They shouldn't want for anything. If I'm doing all of this, they shouldn't want for anything. But I will still provide all bills done. Yeah, do your thing. If we're like that, I got you. That's just me.
Y'all heard it from 2 different angles, 2 men.
Yeah.
But that also means I'm looking at this woman to be my wife.
Yeah, that's what I specified.
So
this ain't somebody you just fucked.
This ain't somebody I'm just messing with. This is someone I'm looking at. I'm like, yo, these kids is about to be my stepchildren. Yeah. I'm looking at this woman I'm about to get on that knee.
That's right.
And I'm about to marry. That's how I'm about to treat that woman.
Right, because
But if I'm just dealing with somebody, if she live over here and I live over here, and we just dating,
but
we move in and we look like it ain't about to be nothing. I'm not even gonna move in on that. I'm not gonna move in.
But as an example, like,
Take that in back.
In one particular situation, when I took that on, we wound up getting married. And then from that point, everything about where we lived was changed for me, from where I could just think about where I wanted to go based on the place to what's the school system, what's this. That changes the narrative on what amount of money you're going to be spending, where you're going to live, because you're going to fight harder to be in certain areas because you want your children to get a particular education. Now, that's what I mean. Like, if it was my son, I'm going to be like, yo, this needs to be your wife for you to be doing all of these things for kids that you didn't make.
I would tell my son to look at it how I look at it. I'm not gonna get to that situation if I can't take care of that situation. So if I'm not financially stable to take care of that woman and her kids, I would tell my son the same thing. Yo, listen, that's a different thing you're walking in on there. How is the relationship with those kids, my parents, and that lady? Is that drama there? You need to find that out first. 2, you can't just be saying you're just gonna be taking care of that lady. Those kids come with the package. You know what I mean? So you can't be loving her and be an asshole to the kids, or be taking care of her but not taking care of those kids. That's a package.
Those are all valid points, but no one's debating that. You have to be good to everybody involved.
But I'm saying that comes with the financing as well. So I would tell my son the same way I would look at it is, listen, if you're going to take care of that person who doesn't have any kids, you need to be taking care of the other person. Part of the same that way, if you're looking for that person to be to that next step.
In the event that I'm in a house where that occurs, then that means I also have the same, if I have the same onus on me to provide, then the same onus is on me to discipline when accordingly. Now there are, but you say of course, but I've asked women straight up who was like, yeah, they ain't gonna be chastising my kid.
Well, I'm gonna say this on the chastising thing. You know what I'm saying? I have daughters, so I only can speak from me having daughters. Ain't no man putting their hands on my daughters. That's just, we not doing that.
No,
now, It may be different if I had sons. If I had sons, then of course, you know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, ultimately come to me first and say, look, so-and-so, this was going on, whatever, and let me chastise them first. And then if I can't, then yeah, go ahead.
All right, so question. You said it would be different if you had sons because it's a man going towards another male child as opposed to a girl child. So I totally get that. So I'm going to bounce it because this thought is going to go to you. It's going to go for you. You have a son. How do you feel about what she said? Because you are in your son's life, but let's say growing up, your son was to wind up with his mom underneath the roof of another man's house. Do you co-sign on what she just said about allowing? I just want to know what he think right now.
But I also said before you asked me
because
that
a lot of niggas
first,
ain't having that
but
shit.
I said, come to me first. Remember I said that? I said, come to me first and say, look, this and that going on first. And then if I can't deal with it, then naturally, if his father is not in the picture, then you're going to have to
What if his father is in the picture, but the disrespect was against the man of the house?
That is a good valid point, and that's a good valid question. Hopefully, I raised my son well enough so he ain't doing that shit.
But we not.
But
we
if
talking about
that
it
is
happened.
the case,
It happened.
still come to me, and I will address it first. If it does continue to happen, he has a father, and then we'll address it with his father. If it's still nothing, then we gonna have to have a sit down, meet down, something. Because why is it a breakdown between y'all two? You get us? I would be asking, what is the problem between my son and the person that I'm with?
Because during life, shit just happens, especially in adolescence. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and you can tell people, you know, things a million times, but she knows in her heart, I'm not gonna hit her. She knows I'm not gonna choke her ass out. But had she done some of the things and had been a child with testicles, it was the first time I'd have blacked out.
Yeah.
And it'd have been like, yo, like my daddy told me, either you're gonna whoop my ass and have to find somewhere else to live, or I'm gonna whoop your ass and it's gonna end.
Yeah.
That's how you treat a man-child that you made.
But you have a really good question, so I'm gonna pass it in. Cause I said what I said. Like, I'm the type of parent that's like, look. I don't know what y'all think, but at the end of the day, when I go to my kids, they know what it is.
Imagine
You know
this.
what I mean? But at the end of the day, if it did not work, because people are different nowadays, but if it didn't work, then I'm going to call your father, and your father needs to talk to you. You get what I'm saying? Because obviously something that I'm saying is not getting through to you. But at the end of the day, if that's not working, then we're going to have a sit down for the reason why this is continuing to happen, or why my son feels the way that he feels towards my significant other. And he has to give a reason. And from that reason, then we'll go from there. Because if he don't have a reason, then there's something else going on or whatever. We might need to put your ass in counseling or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm about trying to get down to the bottom of why it's going on.
The only thing I can say is this. I was raised in a two-parent household by the people who made me. And they did I think a really good job. But even with that, with all the love in the world, I still tested my father. The man who made me, the person who I have more respect for than any other man, right, it's going to happen. So what do you think is going to happen when it ain't your father? You're going to test that nigga too? You might look at him one day at 17 and be like, fuck you, nigga.
But it depends on a lot
And
of
what
factors.
if he reacts?
Factors, though. Because if you, and what you're saying is true, but it depends on some other factors too. Because it depends on who he's hanging around. It depends on what neighborhood you may be or may not be living in. It depends on what type of stuff you got him into. And it also depends on mainly how you came into the household. If you came into the household with, this, that, and the third, or you had little to nothing to say to him or interact with him, then of course he'll be like, fuck you. You ain't my father. But if you come in on like respect, because kids got to have respect too, especially if you coming into their household and you like, look, I want to be with your mother, X, Y, and Z, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here as, you know, somebody to help bring your mother up or whatever, and I'm here for you as well too, then maybe he might get a different rapport with you. But if he ain't got no rapport with him, he gonna be like, fuck you.
You can't, that can happen, but I've also seen scenarios where there's a good rapport, there's a decent rapport, and you have an acute scenario or situation which emotions run high, and then something occurs.
Okay.
It's not been the
Shit
day
happens.
in and day out and day in and
Shit
day out
happens.
going back and forth. It's that one time, that one particular situation where people who are in love with one another
happens.
go at
Of
each
course.
other and do some shit that they fucking regret. So you know, an adolescent, that's the time of life where you ain't thinking about the repercussions of what this is gonna do to the house next week, next month, next year. You're living in the moment. Therefore, you make decisions in the moment. And my only question is, as a man who has a male child, if your child is disrespectful to another man in the house, you still don't want that other man putting his hands on your kid.
I didn't say that he would kick his ass.
Nah, listen.
I didn't ever say that.
Listen. If he yelled at my son, then it would be like my son called me and what happened. And if it was crazy, I felt like he was out of pocket, we're gonna have a conversation. You feel what I'm saying? And then I might bring, after we have a conversation, well, I'm gonna have a conversation with all three of them. Well, like my son and him and me, myself. And then when that's done, it's gonna be all right. You go to your room.
Yeah, and let me talk.
You know what I'm saying? That's my son and whatever. But if he just put hands on him, he gonna see me. Ain't gonna be no conversation. Don't put hands on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't respect. You can't respect that. You're not gonna let nobody put their hands on you.
That's what I said. I said we're gonna have a sit down and we're gonna talk about why. I said come to me first. I'll address it. If it's still going down, he has a father. We're gonna get his father involved, and then we're gonna have a sit down.
And we all agree. So then that leads me to one thing, man. Is there any scenario where there's justification for your kid got out of pocket? They wasn't doing nothing that the adult in the scenario didn't necessarily deserve what was done. Mm-hmm. So is there any scenario where it's like, yo, I totally fucking get why they snapped on your ass because you was fucking up.
Only in my
go ahead.
In my view, pardon me, if you say, like, if it was me and you, if you were around and they were babies and he was a baby and you're like his father and his father is not around, then what? Because I don't have nobody to say, okay, well, this is where you're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So then maybe in that case, just maybe. But if he has a father somewhere that I can reach out, call, go to, whatever, then that's still different. But if his father is nowhere around, like if his father's deceased, or if you've been in the picture the whole time, you know what I'm saying, and you're basically the one who's been raising him, then maybe, to answer your question, maybe. But I still, as me being his mother, you come and address it to me first. I'm going and say, look, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll go from there. But
saying stuff verbally, to me, is the only level you can go. Nobody needs to put their hands on my fucking kid. Because if you're saying something or y'all had a back and forth, that's one level. But when it escalates to you've put hands on them, yo, I can't. I'm gonna take my kid. I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm not gonna fuck with you if you physically hit my child. You're never gonna be good with me.
I get it. I got daughters, y'all. I'm just saying hypothetically if I had sons, but I have daughters and nobody's putting their fucking hands on my daughters. Point blank, period. So, what did you have to say, Brad?
Oh, no, I agree. You know what I'm saying? He gonna see God, you know?
Yeah, ain't nobody putting their fucking hands on my daughters. I don't
play that. Don't put your... I say treat those kids like you would probably treat your nieces and nephews. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna teach, show them the right direction. You might yell at them, you might raise your voice, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go get your sister, somebody to go get. You better come get your son.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Go get the
birth
birth parents.
I keep saying that, y'all. For the viewers out there, I keep saying it. Come get me first, the mother,
even if it verbally gets too hot, you should go get the parents.
Come get me first. Come get Big Mama first, and I'm gonna take care of you.
You could come back from something verbal much more easily than something physical.
Yeah. If it's verbal distance, not verbal close up, like why you getting in his face, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's certain things that you can't let go. Because if that man got in my son's face, then he gonna have to still see me. Because I'm thinking,
of course.
If you didn't do it, you was thinking about it.
So if your son said, fuck you, nigga, and then he got in his face like, who are you talking to? He can't do that.
I don't give a fuck.
Well then that's where
fuck you, nigga, and walk the fuck out.
Right, and then what I'm saying is that's where we differ, because if I'm in a house and this woman has a son in the house with me, and I pay all the fucking bills, and you gonna tell me he can say fuck you nigga, and I can't look him in the eye and get a nose to nose and be like, who the fuck are you talking to? I can't eat that.
Okay, well I say this too. This is what I say.
I can't eat that.
This is what I say out there. I'm gonna look right in the fucking camera. Keep that same motherfucking energy when you see me. That means when my son gets to say fuck you and you want to get in his fucking face, keep that same energy when you see his pops and I fuck your ass up. In the streets, the same fucking way. That nigga down the street say fuck you nigga. You ready to go run in his face? No, you the same bitch ass motherfucker who ain't gonna do shit but say fuck you nigga from a distance. You ain't ready to fucking fight. But since this little ass kid is in your fucking face and he's saying fuck you nigga, keep that same energy when you walk in his goddamn 30 inches. Cause when I see you, I'ma see you. And you gonna see God. I promise you.
So back to the actual scenario.
Yeah.
You're not in the scenario where it's just your
No, I'm not
child.
in that scenario.
You're in the scenario where you're in the scenario where your kids are my nieces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All underneath the same roof. Take it in a situation where they're not, and this is a male child standing underneath the roof that you handle everything. You take care of this motherfucker, even though, sorry, not motherfucker, but you take care of them. You take care of them. You take care of them.
Uh-huh.
You're not abusing them or doing nothing messed up, and they just. You're saying that that you would be going too far then if you looked at them like, who the fuck are you talking to? Not putting their hands on them.
I said 30 inches. I said don't be in their face.
Okay, all I could. What if he got in his face?
I will walk away, man. It's a little kid, yo.
You're not touching them. You're not touching them.
Yeah, but it's a kid. I'll walk away.
Be like,
it's a kid, man.
Tell the mother
It's a
you better
kid.
get your son.
Nobody's screaming on me underneath the roof that I'm paying everything
It's a
for.
kid, man.
Well,
Nobody.
y'all
Nobody's.
got some valid points.
I'm just saying I can't eat that.
Listen,
Y'all got some valid points.
I can't eat that. I'm not built like that. I'm not gonna let you scream on me, and I don't have to put my hands on you, but I can fucking bark underneath the roof that I pay for.
What I'm trying to say.
Or I can just push your ass out.
What I'm trying to say is this. You might not be that dude, but there's a lot of men out there that's quick to bark at that woman, quick to bark at that little kid for getting in their face and saying shit. But when for man your size, your stature do the same fucking shit, you like Pillsbury Doughboy. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's a true statement for
I said not you.
I'm not talking about me. I'm saying it's still apples and oranges.
No, it's not. It's not. It's you're ready to fight or not fight or go at or cuss out or go to war with this 16, 17-year-old. But if you're 30 and the 30-year-old man saying in the streets, that same energy is not there.
Well, I don't understand. Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm only speaking for me. I don't give a fuck how old you are. Grown ass man, whoever, no one's screaming on me in my fucking crib. And I'm just gonna take that shit and be like, and tuck my tail underneath where I pay the bills?
Question for the viewers.
No.
Can he put your son out? Because he just said he put him out. Can he put your son out?
Depends how old they are. Depends how old they are. Depends how old they are. Depends on how old. If they're a minor, no. If they're a minor, no. If they're a minor, no. But if you're of age, you really not gonna get no run
17?
with being disrespectful.
What if he's
you
17?
can't get no run being disrespectful if you're an adult. Shit, I can do it. I can do that with my blood father. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let. No. Okay. No.
See, that's that type of stuff that you get into when you do mix. Okay, so you just gotta be careful and make sure you got the right man or woman that you're doing it with. You know what I'm saying?
Because we got two views, two different point of views here.
Because everybody is not gonna treat your kid like they're their kid. Some people are not gonna do it.
That's true.
Some people are not gonna do it, yo. They just not gonna do it. It is what it is. Some people are not. Some people are. You know, he's trying to say I got him, but at a certain degree, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, that's the rule. And what you got to do is ask those questions prior to going in.
Yeah,
There's nothing
that's
wrong
very
with
true.
what you're saying.
Another thing with me,
There's nothing wrong with what you're saying. It's just that make sure that you have that conversation prior to getting into it.
Right, but that's why. Another reason why I have zero tolerance for that shit is because what I said when we asked about signs. Leos are extremely transparent. I can tell somebody, hey, if you do this, I'm gonna do that. And the way I was raised, I'm gonna fucking follow through and do that shit. It's not gonna just be an idle threat. You should you should set all the expectations and parameters as much as you can, because there's shit that you can't predict. But they shouldn't feel like, oh my God, I didn't know Ray would feel like this. Oh my God, why is he acting this way? 9 times out of 10, if you fucking with me, you know what I'm gonna do beforehand, because I've already told you and prepped you like, hey, if you do this, shit's gonna be fucked up. You're not gonna be. You're not. This nigga knows me. He knows a lot of times. Boogie ain't doing that shit. He don't even gotta ask me, and he's probably gonna be right 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't leave people to guess who I am.
Yeah.
So then that comes down to, like he said, knowing who you're dealing with,
That's
knowing
right.
what their expectation is, and communication. If you communicate in advance, then they already know, hey,
And that's what
this is the fucking line.
And that's
So,
what's lacking
I'ma
in a
say
lot of
this.
shit is communication.
And I'm gonna say
And
this
false expectations.
to y'all ladies out there. Y'all hear this, right? So it's 2 different views. So I'm gonna say this as a woman to y'all. Get your kids under control. The ones that are disrespectful and or out of line for whatever reasons. They might be ADHD. They might have father issues. You know, their father might not be in the household.
They can have mama
whatever.
issues.
They can have issues, period, on all levels. But I'm saying get your children under control, because if that's the case, you might have somebody like this saying, look, if your son is getting disrespectful with me, I'ma see him, okay? So with that being said, you want to make sure that if anything get out of line in your household, that you're the one saying, look, I got it, don't worry about it. So then you don't end up with a situation where your significant other or your husband, X, Y, and Z, boyfriend, whatever, is putting their hands on your children, or it gets to that level, or even when he said, I'm putting his ass out because he's being totally disrespectful. Make sure that you remember this conversation, because everybody not going to be like, yo, it is what it is. Some people might be like, yo, I'ma see your son, or he gonna get out of here with all this disrespect, X, Y, and Z. So bottom line, ladies, please make sure you get your kids under control, especially if you have a male son living in your household, because it can go left field easy. You know what I mean? So me personally, I have girls. If it comes down to it, nobody is putting their hands on my kids. I'm very territorial when it comes to my kids. But what I'm saying to you is this. I make sure that if my kids get out of line, I check them, so that it's never an issue with somebody else having to even think they're going to put their hands on them and or think that they're going to yell at them or fuss at them, because it's already established from day one, any problems, come see me. I'm going to deal with it. And they already know what it is. So just remember that. Y'all got any last comments before we wrap things up on today's show?
Nah, dope show. I like it.
Gotcha.
I appreciate you having us come through, Miss Christyle.
No problem.
This is nice. This is
also,
nice.
too, appreciate that, Grav. Also, too, Boogie and Grav, give y'all shout outs or whatever. Right here.
Hey, always, boss talk. If you need to get it, you need to hit up the infamous Ray Boogie, or at the Get 'em Power Session. DM either one of those, or Gravity.
Yeah, Gravity gonna be in me.
And we'll put you on with hoodies, t-shirts. Check out the show, the Get 'em Power Session on YouTube.
Great show.
It's rolling.
Great
Doing
show.
big things. Appreciate you having us through. This was a dope show, man.
Appreciate
what
that.
I said,
Thank
no, but
you.
this is dope.
Thank you.
This was dope.
You'll see us doing more collabs with Christyle.
Miss Christyle.
Thank y'all. Once again, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Till next time, battle the sexes.